Hey guys, Walls here. Happy Tuesday. Let's go over what we're working on this week, last week into this week, to kind of help you guys, especially those of you working at home, kind of get oriented. I think I've been throwing a lot at you guys, and in my brain, it's connected and it flows together, but it might not do that for you. So let's check this out. Now, if you're just looking at the stream, don't. This can get pretty overwhelming. So if you're looking at Google Classroom and you're just on the stream tab, if you live on the stream tab, it's not how you're supposed to do it. You're living life wrong on Google Classroom. Go to Classwork. This is a hopefully more organized version of the classroom. Now, what you've got here, yours will look a little different, I think. I don't know if you'll have the create button. Anyways, are topics, and the topics are how I kind of organize what it is we're doing. So it's not a chronological listing of stuff. Everything's grouped by topic. So stream is chronological. Classwork is chronological, but within topics. Now, a couple new things we're doing. We're doing daily grammar practice is one of the things we're doing. And so let's go here down there. We've got sentence one stuff here. You've got your student packet that kind of goes over what you do each day for daily grammar practice. And then I've got some videos. Now, if it has this little book with a bookmark icon, that is what's called a material. That's not an assignment. That's not something you click, mark as done or do. These ones that have like a little clipboard looking things, those are technically assignments. So this is where you will turn in your daily grammar practice sentence two. And I just assigned it today, I think, technically. You've got a video here that goes over how to do it. So I'll under daily grammar practice, under the assignments and materials, that's where I'll put the videos going over it. Make sure if you're working at home that your DGP looks like my DGP. And once we get to a point where I feel like we can do a little test, I'll pick one of the DGPs that we've been working on and try to work on a little assessment for you to make sure you're remembering the stuff that we're working on. So the videos go over how to do it. The assessment will require you to work from memory based upon DGP tasks. All right, we've also got the articles of the week. Now, this week, I assigned the second one. You've got an overview video here. Again, this is a material. It's not something that you do. And that's where I go over the process of article of the week. Now, remember, you've got three tasks. One is to mark your confusion. Marking your confusion might not be a big deal. You might not be confused by anything in the article, and that's okay. The second one, though, show evidence of a close reading, requires annotations. Basically, I want to see when you turn in the paper, the actual physical copy of the article of the week, or if you upload a picture of it, I see annotations. Now, some students have been copying and pasting the text from the article of the week PDF to a Google Doc and putting comments on it, and that works too. So whatever works in your workflow, do that. So I posted the second one here. It's about poetry and football. Now, remember, the article of the week is random, and sometimes, and it might be, it's about the pandemic in this one, and then it's about football and poetry in this one. So it's the purpose is to get us to read broadly, to get us to read about a lot of different things. All right, now as far as the short story work goes, this personal writing, writing to think to, what's your purpose, is kind of what I'm basing these things off of. It's kind of get us thinking about this concept of purpose. And we've read three short stories. We started with Read and Respond to Contents of the Dead Man's Pocket. And that is about a man who goes out on a ledge to rescue a piece of paper. But, it's not about the piece of paper. It's about what that piece of paper represents, how that piece of paper turns or kind of becomes or involves Tom's sense of purpose in the story. And we see him learn a valuable lesson at the end, where maybe he realizes that his priorities have been off. So then we look at Read and Respond to an Astrologer's Day. That short story is set in India in a kind of an open marketplace area. The astrologer lives a life that is different than the one he had planned on. We learn about that, why that is in the course of the story. And he also goes through an experience which may or may not cause him to reevaluate his priorities or his purpose. Then you've got Read and Respond to Civil Peace by Chinwe Achebe, and that's the one from this week. So the ultimate goal is for you to do the Read and Respond assignment. Answer the questions at the end. I'm working through trying to get you guys feedback on those. Basically, what I'm looking for is when you answer the questions at the end of the story, give me a full explanation. Don't just put like yes or both. Work in complete sentences here. How you think is how write how you think, I guess. But also, I mean, I'm using these to kind of gather information on how well you're applying things like mood and setting and conflict to the story itself. So I need you to really actually write this stuff out so that I can gain more knowledge about your learning process. So some of you guys, when you write, you act like you're in a contest to see who can write the least. Don't explain things, please. Most of you are doing a good job with that. Don't feel attacked. Now, the comparison questions. This is the fun stuff. So the ultimate goal, what we're trying to do is take these 3 short stories and the one common lit assignment from this week, characteristics of resilient people, and combine them and talk about them and compare how they all work together. So the questions I've got for that are designed in such a way that I hope it's not too open-ended, but also it gives you so you know what you're supposed to be writing about, but they're open-ended enough where you can kind of put your own spin on it and how you interpret it. So basically, we got to talk about attitude toward life. That's kind of a big theme. Characterization. Look at the character's thoughts, the character's words, the character's actions, what other characters do or say around that character or about that character, and see if we can determine what that character's attitude toward life is. Cite evidence from the stories. Now, the way I've tried to do this is to kind of give you guys an outline where, number one, that's what you're doing. You're comparing the character's attitude toward life, and A and B are what I think would make a good, thorough comparison. So think of each one of these individual things as a prompt, whereas an A or B, if you're answering A and B, you will have a good answer. Think of it like an outline. I did the outline for you. You just got to fill in the gaps and make it a paragraph. All right, number 2, describe how each author creates a sense of place. This is how I make sure we understand how setting is made in a story. If you look at the first 2 stories you read, Lamb to the Slaughter and Prey, they take place in like one place, like a home. But the story is not really about the setting. The setting isn't really the physical setting isn't as important as like the time and place kind of setting, the customs, beliefs, and values of the people at the time. In the case of the 3 short stories we've got here, An Astrologer's Day, Civil Peace, and Contents of the Dead Man's Pocket, the setting has a major effect on what happens in the story. In An Astrologer's Day, the author does a very good job of setting place in terms of imagery and mood, and we get a clear vibe from the setting. Whereas in Contents of the Dead Man's Pocket, it only takes place primarily on a ledge. And so a lot of the work the author does to make the story suspenseful is based upon just the physical setting of the place, but also what goes on in Tom's head. A lot of the action in that story takes place in Tom's head. And then in Civil Peace, the setting, it shifts and changes over time. It's set broadly in a village type area that is recovering from a civil war, that is full of people just trying to rebuild their homes and identities after the Civil War. But the characterization is a very important part of the setting there, where the dialect of the characters, the way the characters speak, is very important. So I want to make sure you catch on to that. How does the author use dialect and dialogue? What characters say and how they say it to create a sense of place. And then we got conflict. Each of these stories has, I would argue, internal and external conflict. I want you to think about, though, which story features primarily internal conflict, which stories feature primarily external conflict, and how are those conflicts revealed to the reader? How does the author create those conflicts? And then I want to see if you can tie in the common lit reading, characteristics of resilient people. So this is opinion, no wrong answer here. You just got to support yourself. Which character from the short stories we've read best exemplifies characteristics of a resilient person? And that's based upon this reading right here. So this reading is basically a list of characteristics of resilient people. That's what this whole thing was. So I want you to think about the character from the story and make that connection. Now, in order to do this, I'm thinking you need to have read you obviously need to read this stuff, but wait until I can get you some feedback on the individual stories. I guess I should probably do some individual breakdown videos of the stories, especially for those of you guys working at home, because I want you guys to use that material, use that stuff. Okay, if you have any questions or concerns, hit me up with a private comment. I hope this helps kind of clear up what we're doing for this week. If you're still catching up on stuff from last week, especially those of you working at home, that's fine. Let me know what you're stuck on, or if you need more time on anything, because the ultimate goal is to see if you can kind of put all these things together and answer these comparison questions. And I want to make sure you feel confident going into that assignment. All right. Thanks, guys. Hope you're having a good one. I will talk to you again soon.